you ask a cardiologist what's optimal aging, he's probably going to talk about cardiorespiratory fitness, right? Because his world is full of chronic diseases in the cardiac space.
Mm-hmm.
A family doctor might talk to you about someone who doesn't have a lot of chronic diseases like diabetes and other things like chronic diseases that are going to really affect you.
Mm-hmm.
From a physical therapist, I'm going to talk about the physical aspects of optimal aging. So posture, flexibility, balance, strength, endurance. Those are kind
Right.
of the 5 areas of fitness for me personally, that's in my wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
I think optimal aging is a difficult thing to define because, again, your optimal aging path may be different than someone else's. So I think vitality, independence
Mm-hmm.
are 2 key. Those words can capture it, but they can look different for different people.
Welcome to the Answers for Elders radio show.
And welcome everyone to Answers for Elders Radio Network, heard across the USA on YouTube and on your favorite podcast channel. And it's summertime here across the USA. And obviously there's a lot of seniors that are getting a little more active. Thank you for doing so. We've talked a lot about it on this show, about staying active and what does that mean. And, I really am excited today to bring you this guest because one of the things that really happens that people over the age of 65 may not understand is the risk of falls. And it is a prevalent issue. A matter of fact, in the USA today, about 1 in every 4 older adults age 65 and over fall every year. And this translates to over 36 million falls in the United States annually among seniors. That is a huge statistics. And the incidence of falls increase with age. So people over the age of 75 years old are at an even greater risk. And so seriously, everyone, falls are one thing, but 1 in every 5 falls results in a serious injury such as a broken bone or head trauma or a broken hip. And of course, hip fractures alone cause over 300,000 hospitalizations every year in the USA. And they are followed by a decline in physical function, independence, and even mortality. So this is a serious subject for seniors, for those of us that are over the age of 65. And I'm excited to bring you this amazing guest. And Kele Murdin, she is an award-winning physical therapist who specializes in caring for older adults. She has worked as a physical therapist as well as the founder of Group Otago. It's an evidence-based fall prevention group exercise class that helps thousands of seniors stay safe in their homes. So Kele Murdin, welcome to Answers for Elders.
Thanks. It's so wonderful to be here, Suzanne.
You are amazing. I remember meeting you not too long ago, and you have such a heart and such a spirit and a passion for this topic. And you sent me an amazing packet that I want to make sure that all of our listeners today will know about it because it's something that really is life-changing. And I think a lot of us, Kele, over the age of 65, we don't realize how important preventing falls needs to be. And obviously I read off the latest statistics. How many seniors are you we all are in denial. A lot of us are in denial about the risks that we live around.
Yeah, I think it's pretty natural. We think that happens to other people. I'm pretty active. I'm very healthy. I haven't had a lot of injury, so it's not going to happen to me. But I think we also don't know what the red flags are. Like, how do I know how I'm doing? And that's not widely known on how to check in with your particular fall risk. Another statistic that I'm always aware of is that, just being over 65 puts you at an increased rate of fall by 30%, just because of the age changes that happen with joints and tissue and aerobic systems, that you're already at 30%. So if you have an ankle injury on top of that, that's going to increase your risk even more. And I didn't know that. I didn't kind of put those things together. How does my dizziness affect my balance, and why and kind of correlating those things, I think, is really normal for us. And we tend to think about, it's not going to happen to me, it's going to be other people. I think those
Yeah.
are really natural things that
Yeah.
we put us at risk.
You know, Kelly, what you're saying is so vitally important because I personally, in this last month, I've had 2 falls. It's ridiculous. But these are things I have a bad foot. It doesn't flex like it normally should. And there's times that I will step on it that it just doesn't operate. Plus, I have arthritis in my knees, in my ankles, in my hands, and all kinds of stuff. Being over 65, like I'm 69 right now, I can't wear the high heel shoes anymore. I can't do a lot of the things that I used to be able to do, but there's a part of me in my head that's in denial. It's in denial of, I could probably wear these shoes to this party tonight, or I could probably, go out and, to this place and not pay attention to where I'm at, or things like that, or not use a handrail because I'm gonna be, graceful or whatever that is.
Right.
I think a lot of us, especially in the late 60s, early 70s, we don't realize how much of a risk we are in our age group, do we?
Yeah, no, I think that's very true. I think, all of us, like when I think about if I wanted to tackle a new task, like go running, I say, oh, I can run. And the person in my head is like
Mhm.
13 years ago. The person
Yeah.
who's running in my head, I know how to run. And I think that's true for all of us. So when you think about going to dinner, you think about heels, a nice slim dress, and walking down the center of
Mhm.
the stairs and with your cute purse. Because
Yes.
that's the memory you have from the last time you felt good going to dinner. And the
Hmm.
reality is that could have been 20 years ago. And you haven't actually worn shoes. That's what we
Yeah.
all struggle with. And then when we try to step into that person now with a bad foot, arthritis in your shoulder, and then you're really in trouble, and you don't realize it till you're halfway down the stairs at
Yeah.
dinner. You
Yeah.
know?
Well,
Yeah.
and I think eyesight deteriorates, so you don't necessarily see as well. A lot of seniors are not getting their eyes checked. They're not
Yes.
hearing check. If there's something in your way, you don't hear things as well. So a lot of those types of situations put you at a higher risk, doesn't it?
Yeah. So what comes to mind as start listening to you is like the risks for fall. Like, what are the things that increase my risk for falls? And you've mentioned, joint range of motion and strength that degrade over time.
Mhm.
Medications, they say if you take more than
Oh,
four
medication's
medications,
huge.
if you have more than 4 prescriptions, especially things like benzodiazepines, like things that change your mentality, like you take for depression or
Yeah.
blood pressure. Your home environment, is there good lighting? How often have
Hmm.
you had your eyes checked? We should have our eyes checked every year after the age of 65. How about hearing? Hearing is another big part of our vestibular system. We should
Hmm.
have that checked regularly. Footwear is another issue. Um, there's just so many factors that I think all of us, you just don't kind of put it together with
Hmm.
with changing your risk of fall. So it's complicated, and I think that's why falls are such a big issue. Is
It
your
is.
situation, Suzanne, is very specific to you because of your physical
Mhm.
self and your medical history. Well, that's true for everyone. So I can't create a fall prevention program for you that's going to fit my aunt because you guys both have different backgrounds. And that's what makes it so tricky. There's so many factors that can play into falls, and it's very individualized. So there's no one size fits all kind of
Right.
program, which makes it complicated on
Right.
addressing these issues.
Yeah. So you use the term optimal aging.
Yes.
How do you define that?
Well, that's a good question. I think optimal aging can depend on who you ask, right? If you ask a cardiologist what's optimal aging, he's probably going to talk about cardiorespiratory fitness, right? Because his world is full of chronic diseases in the cardiac space. A
Hmm.
family doctor might talk to you about someone who doesn't have a lot of chronic diseases like diabetes and other things like chronic diseases that are going to really affect you.
Hmm.
From a physical therapist, I'm going to talk about the physical aspects of optimal aging. So posture, flexibility, balance, strength,
Hmm.
endurance. Those are kind
Right.
of the 5 areas of fitness for me personally, that in my wheelhouse. So
Yeah.
I think optimal aging is a difficult thing to define because, again, your optimal aging path may be different than someone else's. So I think vitality, independence,
Mhm.
are two key. Those words can capture it, but they can look different for different people.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about optimal aging in this hour. But in the meantime, obviously, Kelly, you have a ton of information for our listeners. How do we reach you and what kind of information can they get from you?
Wonderful. Yes, I have a website, groupotago.com, and Otago is Otago. And what's available there is I offer a group fall prevention exercise class that's across the state of Washington and West Coast. And what that does, it's evidence-based. So these exercises have been proven through research that they actually do reduce falls. And so that's really what the biggest thing that you can get from the website and where you can find those classes.
Mhm.
There's always my contact information is there as well if you want to contact me directly. But that's probably the best way to get in touch with me.
So it's Group Otago. Could you spell that out for
Yes.
us?
GROUPOTAGO.com. Otago is a terrible name, but it's the name of the city that the research was originated in New Zealand, where all these exercises came from.
And also to all of you, if you're even outside of the state of Washington, there's a ton of information for you on Kelly's website, and we're going to be right back right after this. Did you know that you can discover hundreds of podcasts in our library on senior care? So visit our website and discover our decision guides that will help you also navigate decision making. Find us at answersforelders.com.